Well, it didn't take long. Donald Trump's second Muslim majority country immigration ban has been blocked again, first by a judge in Hawaii and then by a judge in Maryland. It was just about to go into effect, and federal judges Derrick and Theodore Chuang blocked the ban on new visa approvals for people from the updated list, the initial list of 7 countries pared down to 6 Muslim majority countries. Why was this one blocked? Glad you asked. A judge cited Donald Trump's campaign statements that his intent here is to keep Muslim people out of the country. That means based on religious identification. That is discriminatory. And this has caused concern among supporters of this bill, saying, wait a second, hold on. How can a judge consider something that Trump said during the campaign as context for whether the ban is discriminatory? There's legal precedent for this. If you look at McCreary County versus the ACLU, that led to a court opinion stating, quote, court's precedents sensibly forbid an observer to turn a blind eye to the context in which the policy arose. Of course, Donald Trump, speaking yesterday at a rally in Nashville, Tennessee, said that the travel restrictions were needed to protect Americans from radical Islamic terrorists and vowed to take the case all the way to the Supreme Court. Of course, nationals from the countries on the list haven't actually attacked us. So at face value, the ban itself seems to reject logic and reason. And the likely appeals process here will be first to the same San Francisco court that rejected the first ban, and ultimately, if indeed we see it appealed to this level, to the Supreme Court. This is temporary, Pat. This is a temporary blocking of Trump's order, not a permanent one. Judges are saying that based on their initial understanding, it appears that this would violate the constitutional and be discriminatory. So they're suspending the 90-day implementation, but there's still an uphill battle here for the permanent version of this ban.
I was honestly rather surprised that this got struck down because
Really?
even though I thought it was terrible policy, I thought that it was constitutional and within the rights of the executive branch.
Right.
Because it seemed to get rid of the original provisions from the first travel ban that made that one unconstitutional.
Right.
Christians were no longer prioritized over Muslims, and it seemed to open the door to allow green card holders back into the country. So
Right.
I thought with those changes, it would have been just fine.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, in other words, based on the initial reasons that it was shut down, that they, quote, shut the whole thing down, I thought that this one wouldn't be blocked for the same reasons. And we were correct about that, but different reasons given this time for why this one is being blocked. Now, on what basis do opponents claim that the travel ban violates the Constitution or other law? First Amendment, Fifth Amendment, and the U.S. Immigration and National Act. It's in one of the articles I read about this, a defender of the order from Donald Trump's administration or Justice Department said, hey guys, this isn't discriminatory against Muslims because it doesn't affect 100% of Muslims, only some Muslims. Have you ever heard of a more flaccid and weak defense? Any law that doesn't impact all members of a protected class is not discriminatory. And the opinion from the Hawaii court actually addressed this, saying that it's illogical, that the illogic of the government's contention on this is palpable. The notion that one can demonstrate animus toward any group of people only by targeting them all at once is fundamentally flawed. How bad will this be for Trump? Will people see it as a total failure? Will many people say Trump was a victim of evil, liberal, activist judges? What's clear is that this is embarrassingly bad if you understand what the court said, because the court said 3 things that if you get it, you should be embarrassed if you're a supporter of this ban. Number one, that Donald Trump's words matter. What he said is being considered in evaluating the real and true goal of this travel ban. That's really bad for Trump. Number two, the ruling rejects the notion that something is only discriminatory if 100% of the target demographic or group is impacted. And legally, that's huge. And number three, if you look at the legal language in very succinct and concise legal language, what these judges said is this entire thing is harebrained and the arguments from the Trump administration make no sense.
And perhaps not surprisingly, he continues to shoot himself in the foot.
Yeah,
because he had
face.
another one of these post-election campaign rallies yesterday in Nashville, and he called this new ban a watered-down version of the original one.
Yeah.
So now that we know that his words matter in determining precedent in these cases, I mean, how is the appeal going to go in his favor if he's already admitted that?
Yeah, he's basically saying this is just another version of the thing that's already been rejected multiple times by courts.